So welcome to my review of the W800, a quick review, followed by a bit of a bimble around the Jura hills, which is a range of hills in the French part of Switzerland. So I've had this bike now for a few months and it's definitely grown on me. For me, I think it could be a keeper. A few things that you hear about the W800 are that it's slow and it vibes. So is it slow? For me, no. I've been riding for 33 years on a whole range of different bikes, and I find that there's a pleasant amount of power for everyday roads. Definitely it will be very different if you're used to a powerful naked or a sports bike. It's a very different experience to that, but it is not slow. You know, what I've learned in my 33 years of riding is that unless you want to spend all day blasting on the Autobahn, then 50 ponies is plenty enough for anybody. Does it vibe? Absolutely. In different parts of the rev range, you either get vibes through the bars or the pegs, and I'm pretty sure that Kawasaki have engineered it that way to build in some character. Actually, another thing you hear about the W800 is that it's a bit lacking in character. I don't think so at all. You definitely can feel what the engine's doing, whether it's happy or not, whether it wants to be kicked up another peg. Some modifications that I've made to this bike. Fly screen definitely makes a big difference in terms of taking some pressure off your chest above 60 miles per hour. And actually this dart fly screen doesn't create much additional turbulence around your helmet, which is really good. I've got some bar risers on here. It wasn't uncomfortable before, but for my stature, it just makes it a little bit more comfortable in terms of the reach. I've got an oil temperature gauge, which actually seems to work pretty well. And there's a sturdy Hepco rack on the back here. Now this is the 2016 model. So this was the model before the relaunch, and the current one. Now this I actually prefer to the new one for a couple of reasons. Firstly, the styling. I think it looks awesome in this in the black, with the engine blacked out and the pipes. Oh, actually, with the pipes, I should say also, these are aftermarket Remus pipes, which give a lovely burble, and also you get a great crackle on the overrun. With the new model, you have, through necessity, an ABS pump, a huge ABS pump here, which I think detracts from the aesthetics of the bike. Now this is a fully air-cooled bike, which for me was an important selling point. I looked at the new Royal Enfield, the Interceptor, and also the offerings from Triumph, and for me they just didn't fit the bill in that they're not fully air-cooled, and there's a certain charm about air-cooled engines, the flexibility that they have, how they feel. Particularly Triumph I didn't like at all. There seemed to be a lot of fakery about the Triumph, so you know, even the latest offerings are water-cooled, but they have fake fins, so they look like they're air-cooled, which I think is unfortunate. And also the fuel injectors are designed so they look like carburetors, so there's a definite sense of fakery. Whereas the W800, you know, it has the pedigree going back to the 60s with what Kawasaki was doing in terms of their copying and improvement of BSAs, and you can definitely see a lineage to this model. The handling actually is quite surprising, particularly on these peculiar tires that it came with. The handling is really good. It's pretty neutral. I wouldn't say it's fast, but it's fast enough, and she goes around corners great. Very predictable.